Chapter 33, Question number 2. When the United States experiences a wave of immigration, the labor force will increase, so the potential GDP will also increase and long-run aggregate supply shifts rate, as there are more people who can produce output. When Congress raised the minimum wage to $15 per hour, total cost of the firm increased, so that the labor employment and the potential GDP and long-run aggregate supply will remain unchanged. When Intel invents a new and more powerful computer chip, productivity increased, so that the potential GDP and long-run aggregate supply will increase as more output can be produced with the same inputs. When a severe hurricane damages factory along the East Coast, the capital stock is smaller, so that the potential GDP and long-run aggregate supply shift left.
Hello everyone, I'm Long from Group 2, now represent you about chapter 33. I will answer the question number 8. Explain whether each of the following events shifts the short-run aggregate supply curve and the aggregate demand curve, both or neither. For each event that does shift a curve, draw a diagram to illustrate the effect on the economy. A. Households decide to save a larger share of their income. B. Florida orange groves suffer a prolonged period of below freezing temperature. And C. Increased job opportunities overseas cause many people to leave the country. So I will answer each of them. So the first one, households decide to save a larger share of their income. Some people spend less their disposable income and save more, leading to a bigger force in aggregate demand, because they don't use their money to buy things much, so that means the demand for the goods and services is decreased. So this would be the short run aggregate demand will shift to the right, shift to the left, and this will cause decrease in quantity of goods and services. So, Florida growth suffer a prolonged period of below freezing temperature. The shortage of aggregate supply but aggregate demand is not affected by the event. A prolonged period of below freezing temperatures will make the supply of orange decrease, so this will be the shortage in the supply, and this will only affect on the aggregate supply, but the below freezing temperature doesn't make the demand for the orange rise, so the aggregate demand is stand still. Only aggregate supply is shift to the left. So this will also make the shortage of the goods of the output of good, quantity output of good. C. Increased job opportunities overseas cause many people to leave the country. More people leave the country, which means less consumption due to less people stay in the country, and also less quantity of output due to less labor in the country. So when the people move out of the country, there will two things that will happen. The first thing is the shortage of labor. So when labor falls, the supply of labor falls, and this will make the quantity of output falls. And the second thing is the consumption. Due to less people stay in the country, so would mean less consumption in the country. So It will cause R-grade supply curve and R aggregate demand curve will all shift to the left. So that's all for my blog. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, my name is Phim and today I will present about chapter 33, agreed demand and agreed supply. So let's take a look at my question number 10. Explain whether each of the following events shifts the short-term agreed supply curves and the agreed demand curve. Both are neither. For each event that the shift curve, use a diagram to illustrate the effect of the economy. So the first event is household decide to save a larger share of their incomes. So as the household save a larger share of their incomes, agreed demand decrease in the economy. This will cause the agreed demand curve to shift towards, causing a fall in price and the quantities. As shown in the figure below, the equilibrium changes from point A to point 3, which is the price level decline and the output decline. The total supply curve remain unchanged and the consumption fall and agreed demand falls. So the second event is Florida orange groves suffer a prolonged period of below freezing temperatures. The agreed supply of these orange groves is fair due to the adverse winters. This will cause the agreed supply curve shift leftward, and this will cause a rise in price and a fall in quantity. This describes the natural rate of output is represented in figure here by a shift to the left in the both short-run and also long-term agreed supply curve. The equilibrium changes from point A to point B, so the price level rises and the output declines. And the result of this change, agreed demand will remain unchanged. The third event is increased job opportunities overseas caused by many people to leave the countries. So as many people live in the country for increased job opportunity abroad, the agreed demand will fall at home as consumption and investment decline at home. This will cause agreed demand to fall at home, cause left-hand shift in the agreed demand curves. This will cause the price level and also the quantity to fall. The agreed supply curve remain relatively unchanged. The result in this decline in the quantity of output as the figure below. Whether the price level rises or decline depends on the relative size of the shift in the agreed demand curve and the agreed supply curves. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Today I will answer the question 1 in chapter 34. My question 1 is explain how each of the following developments will affect the supply of the money, the demand for money, and the interest rate. And then I will illustrate my answer with the diagrams. In the question 1, we still have 5 small questions. A. The Fed point trader by point in open market operation. P. An increase in credit card availability reduce the cash people hold. C. The Federal Reserve reduce bank reserve requirement. D. Household decided to hold more money to use for holiday shopping. And finally, E. A wave of optimism puts business investment and expand aggregate demand. Now we coming to the question A. The Fed point trader by point in open market operation. You're looking at the figure 1. When the Fed point trader by point in open market operation, the money supply curve shifts to the right from MS1 to MS2 as shown in the figure 1. The result is a decline in the interest rate. B. An increase in credit card availability reduces the cash people hold. When an increase in credit card availability reduces the cash people hold, the money demand will curve shift to the left from MD1 to MD2, as shown in the figure 2. So that's the result that is will be showing the decline in interest rate. With the question C, the Federal Reserve reduced bank reserve requirements. When the Federal Reserve reduced reserve requirement, the money supply increased, so that the money supply will curve shift to the right from MS1 to MS2, as shown in the figure 1, so that it will showing the decline in interest rate. The households decide to hold more money to use for holiday shopping. When households decided to hold more money to use for holiday shopping, the money demand curves will curve shift to the right from MD1 to MD2, as shown in the figure 3. So the result is a rise in the interest rate. The finally, question E, a wave of optimism pushes business investment and expands aggregate demand. When a wave of optimism pushes business investment and expands aggregate demand, money demand will increase from MD1 to MD2 in figure 4, so that it will be increasing in money demand and also increasing in interest rate.
Question 4 considers two policies: a tax cut that will last for only 1 year and a tax cut that will expected to be permanent. Which policy will have a greater impact on the aggregate demand? The answer is the tax cut that is expected to be permanent. Because if the tax cut is permanent, consumers will view it as adding substantially to their financial resources, and they will increase the spending substantially. And if the tax cut is temporarily, the consumers will view it as adding just a little to their financial resources, so they will not increase the spending as much.